We came together today expecting to be able to respond to the study committee's draft recommendation, but unfortunately they have failed to honor their pledge to release it 7 days before the final meeting, which will be next Thursday the 19th, where they will vote on whether to send it on to the General Assembly. I believe we're justified in making some predictions based on the process thus far. And from the draft report's appendix, which they did see fit to release and post yesterday online, it's just very curious. In any case, whether they move this week to seize Asheville Buncombe's water system or decide to kick the can down the road and study the question for another year, they need to know we will never accept that Raleigh has the right to make decisions for us regarding who controls our drinking water. Representative Moffitt's handling of both issues puts Buncombe County residents and businesses at risk of not only having to subsidize Henderson County sewage and development costs, but also of creating an air of uncertainty around the future of our water. People in the county have asked us why they should be concerned if Raleigh wants to seize Asheville's water. The answer lies in the email response that Representative Moffitt has been sending to Buncombe residents, saying, quote, that all water issues are state issues, not local, with state capitalized. That's your answer, Buncombe County. If you think you should have a say in what happens to your well water, or for that matter, any other water, including creeks, rivers, lakes, then Representative Moffitt has news for you, and it's that you don't control it. I'm here today to tell you that we do not accept Representative Moffitt's belief that all water issues are state issues. We believe that the people of Asheville and Buncombe County support our conviction that all water issues are local issues and should be decided locally. And that's local with a capital L. Representative Moffitt has made one illogical argument after another to justify his unwarranted actions. He's managed to rake up tired old scars between Henderson and Buncombe County, and he's treated Buncombe County city and county leaders with disrespect at every turn. Representative Moffitt said that he didn't like that Asheville raised water rates on businesses. But we all know that delivering quality water is expensive. And until the recent increase, residential users had been subsidizing business rates, and that was not fair to the residents. Despite the rate increase that supposedly spurred Representative Moffitt's reckless actions, our water rates for businesses still trend below the national median. And just last week, New Belgium Ale announced Asheville as the site of its new East Coast brewery, putting a lie to the notion that our water rates discourage business. However, if Representative Moffitt continues with his campaign to steal our water system, we believe that the ratepayers will have to bear the burden of any unnecessary changes in management. And business owners are the biggest water users in Buncombe County. So we're making a special appeal today to our local businesses to learn more about this issue. People have packed full 2 forums and a local public hearing to deliver the following messages to Representative Moffitt. 1, water is a public asset. 2, decisions about our water should be made by the citizens and officials of Buncombe County, not by legislators in Raleigh. And 3, our water should never be put at risk of being privatized. Transferring our water system to an unelected body makes it vulnerable and puts it at risk for privatization, despite Representative Moffitt's claims to the contrary. So far, Representative Moffitt doesn't seem to be listening. Therefore, we've explored various ways to spread the word about his potentially threatening proposals for Buncombe County's water future. Today, we announce the following: a drive to collect as many petition signatures as we can from around the county. The petition is in press kits for media people, and we have posted a link online on both blogs which are dedicated to this water issue. We also have print copies on the back table for those who would like to take them and have friends and neighbors sign on. We're appealing to businesses to become involved and take a stand. We believe that any change in the water system will negatively impact water rates. We believe that Buncombe County's economic future is being put at risk for reasons that have little to do with ensuring a stable, prosperous business climate. We're asking concerned citizens to take our information and the action letter, and again they're on the back table, to at least 2 businesses in the city and the county that you deal with on a regular basis and help educate them about this issue. We're publicly and respectfully asking the Chamber of Commerce to join with the Asheville Downtown Association and take a stand in favor of the Asheville water system. If the board is uncomfortable making this decision, then I urge the Chamber to poll its members today. We feel confident that our area businesses do not want to see the Asheville water system snatched from us by the state. I leave you with this one thought. If Raleigh can seize our water against the will of local residents, businesses, and officials, then what will be next? Now, I'd like to introduce in order of their appearance, Tim Schaller, President of Asheville Brewers Alliance, followed by Chris Kelly, Asheville City Council and member of the MSD Board, and David Gantt, Chair of Buncombe County Commissioners. Thank you all for coming.
I was told to be brief, so I have a little. I thought there was TV stuff here, so it's always good to have the little sound bites. But the regional brewers who I represent, water is our main ingredient. Beer is 95% water. So to lose, it's a precious resource to all of us. It's the main ingredient in our business. So when our rates increased last year, the first reaction for anybody in business is it goes up 20%, freak out. We immediately looked at it as a group and said, okay, this is fair. You know, our local residents who drink our beer are paying that rate. We'll pay that rate. And it's worth it for us because we go out and buy the best grains, the best hops, the best everything. We have the best water and pay the best. The water rates are not an issue for us. So for this to be brought up, it's not a fair issue. The local beer industry is obviously a job creator. I question the numbers that are coming out about the new industries, but it is obviously a job creator. It's obviously, at this point, a tourist stimulus, and anything that puts that in jeopardy is bad for us as an industry, and therefore bad for the region. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Chris Kelly, and I am, as Elaine says, on Asheville City Council and Council's appointee to the Metropolitan Sewer District Board here. I've been serving on City Council for about 4 months now, and when I ran for office, you know, I felt like to be straight with the voters, you got to kind of run on a platform, tell people what you're about, what you stand for here. I came out of a neighborhood background. I've been an advocate for sidewalks for a long time. I told folks that that's what I'm going to try and do on council, and that as a neighborhood advocate, I'm going to try and advance the interest of neighborhoods. And in fact, the next council meeting, I'll be making the case for a creation of a neighborhood advisory committee. So I'm trying to, you know, do what I say I'm going to do here. But it got me thinking about, you know, what did Representative Moffitt run for office on? You know, all the candidates answer questionnaires, and his was in the Mountain Express when he first ran here, and one of his primary goals, and quoting right here from it, I will strive to make state educational funding more available to our schools in Buncombe County. He got elected. He's on the House Select Committee on Early Childhood Education, and you all know what happened. It's right here. The Republican-led legislature cut early pre-K education 20%. You know, so the other part of it is I didn't see anything in those questionnaires about running on seizing our public water system. You know, and this is the same representative who was quoted in the Charlotte Observer in January of this year saying, I'm very suspect of early childhood education. I'm very suspect of education in general. Yeah, it's right in there, folks. So, you know, we shouldn't be surprised that, you know, that he's taking the steps he's taking now to seize our public water system. We've got a lot at stake right now. As Elaine says, he's also serving on a committee, it's called the PPP Committee, Public-Private Partnerships, that their stated goal is to look at all our institutions and see what can be privatized here. Many of us believe the end goal here is, in fact, that the system will be turned over to for private ownership and private profit. And you know, he's got a lot backing him up too. You know, if you look at his campaign financial disclosures, he's got multiple checks of $4,000 each from Art Pope and all the members of his family there. He's got big bucks, and he's going to have it again in this. And you know, he's also got membership in the American Legislative Exchange Council, who's again pushing privatization in so many different ways here. You know, he's got the big bucks. They've got the lobbyists that are working the legislature, trying to put together the deals for crony capitalism deals for the top 1% here. We don't have that. We don't have the super PACs that are going to give $100,000 or millions of dollars, quite literally, to advance these campaigns here. But there's something that we have that they don't have, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. We've got the public behind us. We all know that people value a public water system here. And the message that I would like to leave you with today is that we have to do what the suggestions Lane's talking about here, is we've got to articulate, we've got to voice our concerns about preserving our public water system here, and that's the point of this press conference here. City Council is having a public hearing at their next meeting on April 24th on this very issue here, and I encourage you all to come speak. This is the way change happens. You know that. You've got to speak up, you've got to make your voices heard, and I'm proud of you all for coming out today, and I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for being here today, because it shows you have some interest in something that is a community asset, not a private asset. I'd like to thank particularly Commissioner Jones, colleague, for being here. She gets it because she was on City Council, she's on County Commission now. She's been a strong voice for the water, doing the right thing there all along. I've had a long history with this, and I'm going to speak for myself on this, but let me just say that before we get going, there has never been a request from the City Council, from MSD, from the County Commission, in Buncombe, Henderson, any other county commission to change the way we're doing things. This is 100% something that's coming from Raleigh down to us, and I would suggest it's with a hammer. The best kind of policies are when the local people say, we have a problem and we would like you to help us fix it. Here's a situation that we need some state help with. That's where we do the best programs, because everybody's on the same page. Everyone is part of the discussion. Everybody knows what's going on. The stakeholders, the customers, the government, everybody is together. Traditionally, that's the way we've done business. This past session, that's not the way business was done. Things were done without even telling our other delegation members what was going to happen. This water, these things that have been done with the County Commission, are totally driven by politics, and it's wrong. Now, a lot of people will say, you know, you push the bully and they'll push you back and they'll beat you in the ground. But folks, this is a basic necessity of life, that you're here for a lot of people who can't be here, that are working hard, that can't afford to pay too much for water, and we've got to take care of those people. We can't have a small possibility that it would be privatized, because that opens the door for the fracking that a lot of people want to get done down east, and it'll probably come up here eventually. It opens the door for having no say over what you pay for water, and no way to fix it when it gets too high. The customers want the best water at the lowest price. And on one level, they don't care who delivers it. But what they also want is, if it's unreasonably priced, or they can't get what they want a chance to have a say. If it's privatized, that's out the window. There's no way you can do anything about it. That's wrong. Little history. Water agreement set up 1981. It lasted for 25 years. It was terminated 2005. And at that time, I thought it was a good idea to do an independent authority. And I went and I told you that. I was very outspoken in that. I felt that way because you had a huge leakage problem. You're losing a great deal of water. There was no viable master plan that I could see that would take care of some of the problems you had with the system that was at the time over 50 years old. It's even older now. I felt there were erratic rate increases. They have to go before city council and county commission, and it just depends on which way the wind was blowing, how it would go. There was no money not enough money, in my opinion, being reinvested in the water system to fix it. And there wasn't as much communication, cooperation, and partnership with MSD, which Councilman Pelley's on. I've served on in the past. And that wasn't good. Since that time, since the city has taken over the water, here's what's happened. There's been a $40 million bond that was in 2007. Every one of the system improvements that were in that bond have already been done, past tense. We're not thinking about doing them, they've been done. There has been a third-party improvement plan for all the capital projects. They've even completed 18 of the 28 capital improvement suggestions in that plan. There is a $6.5 million budget every year to fix this system for the rest of their lives. That's what we want, that kind of specific thing. There has been a total cooperation with MSD. In fact, the city does the billing for MSD. They get along so good, not only do they trust them with the money. And then when they cut in there, they're together with it. As Councilman Pelley can tell you, when there's any disruption, any construction, the city calls MSD, MSD calls the city. They have a policy, fix it once and for all. And they work together. Different pipes now, have you know, of course. That's the same idea. One's doing bad stuff out, one's doing good stuff out. There's a 365-day contingent plan that they have, a rainy day fund in case something goes wrong. It's the first water facility in North Carolina to get an ISO 1401 Best Practice Award in the state of North Carolina. That's what we wanted, folks. We always wanted this water system as the best it can be. Because, as Tim said, we are pulling. We've got heavy water users that depend on this good water. We've got some other folks that are going to use a lot of water coming in. We want to have this. You've got to have it stable. It can't be something that's a political football depending on who's in Raleigh. You can't do business like that. And the people that will yell the loudest are the business people that are creating the jobs that you and I need to have in this community. Everything that's been done has been done behind closed doors. The public hearings, the ones you've been to, some of them didn't even show up. None of them. They didn't ask the local delegation to be part of it at all. If there was any attempt at any kind of local partnership or looking ahead together, working as a consensus, they don't want to do that. And they haven't done that, in fact. But like Chris said, this is the chance. You are the game changer, but you got to be heard. You got to say, this isn't right. We don't want this. Keep it the way it is. Asheville City is doing a good job with the water, and we want to keep the water system good. Asheville's doing it. Keep it where it is. Do not take it away from people that are good stewards of one of God's most important resources for all of us, that everybody needs. We got to have. Do your job. We'll do our job. But please, if we sit back and say, well, Raleigh's pretty powerful, they can do this, and they probably can do it, folks. I think they can. I hate to say that, but is it the right thing to do? Heck no. Is it something we're going to let them do? Heck no. But you got to be heard. If you're not heard, it'll happen. Because these folks got the train going down the road pretty fast. We can stop it. You can stop it by voting. You can stop it by attending the public hearings. You can stop it by writing, telling your friends, bombard these people and say, we do not want this in our community. Thanks for listening.
Commissioner Gantt said that one of the things we can do is vote. Well, there is an alternative to Tim Moffitt, and she's here.
Get used to this, get used to this, okay?
I just want to say thank you all for coming. I was standing in the back listening. I did hear just a little bit about the report. This is good news. You guys have been doing a really good job. It sounds like, from the little snippet I got from Jan Davis a few minutes ago, that they will be leaving our water alone for now. Let's not forget, these things can still change. But it sounds like there may be some minor tweaks, but for now, which means you have been doing an excellent job. I thank you, and a whole lot of other people thank you, and these new businesses coming in, and the businesses that are here, thank you for what you've done. Great job.
I mentioned that we would think about having a referendum, because the powers the county has is you can change representation, but you got to have a referendum for it. So I said, okay, General Assembly said this, let's let the voters decide if this is what they want, because we didn't have any hearings. The last day of the General Assembly, Representative Moffitt introduced a bill and rammed it through that took away Buncombe County's right to hold a referendum to change the way they elect themselves for 10 years. The last day of the General Assembly, rammed it through. They couldn't stop it. They tried. But that's what we're dealing with.
If you'll give me that information, I'll write a letter to the editor. I'll write him, because I've been to some of his junk, and I learned him from going to that stuff.
It got through at the last minute, and that's why it's so good for y'all to be informed, for us to share information. I really appreciate Ellen and Elaine for doing all this, Heather and Elaine for doing all this, because information is the key. Just you knowing about the report did come out. All that, we are empowered, but we have to use what we know. We can't just sit back and say, well, I know this, but I'm not going to do anything about it. There is a time where you've got to go to Bully and say, we're tired of you beating on me, and we're going to do something about it.